Hey, what's going on everybody? My name is Jay and welcome to The Ship Life. So in breaking cruise news, we have a medical emergency currently taking place on board Royal Caribbean's Odyssey of the Seas. This ship is currently hightailing it over to San Juan, Puerto Rico as fast as they can in order to get the person that is in need of medical assistance the additional aid that they need. We'll go over the details in today's video. Also, with cruising going back to normal right now in so many different ways, I believe a valid question a lot of people are asking is what's going on with the vaccine mandates in order to cruise as well as testing. These two factors appear to be the only two elements left that is keeping cruising from looking like the experience that you know before the pandemic. So Odyssey of the Seas has definitely seen its fair share of issues, going all the way back to last year when the ship first began operations, starting with it originally supposed to be home porting out of Israel during its inaugural sailing. That went south all due to a lot of the crew, at least this is what the rumor was, all the crew not being fully vaccinated and the Israel government not accepting them. The ship then did a transatlantic over to Florida. During that process, there was a crew member that went overboard and unfortunately they did not survive the incident. Then we had a fire in one of the bumper cars on board Odyssey of the Seas. And then we've seen other problems. You guys know I recently sailed on board Odyssey of the Seas. The week after, or the sailing rather, after my initial sailing, there was a medical emergency that caused the ship to have to turn around and go back to Fort Lauderdale. Apparently there was a passenger that had a heart attack, and then during that same sailing there was another passenger that suffered heart attack like symptoms and had to be airlifted off of the ship. This brings us to where we are now. So when it comes to the situation going on right now, I am currently talking with a passenger that is on board Odyssey of the Seas at the moment. They said that yesterday during one of the shows, I'm not sure if it was the Aqua show or the book or any of those shows on board, but there was a passenger that fell. Unfortunately, they had to get medical attention. Now the following day, it's not really confirmed if this is related or not. The captain made an announcement stating that they had to go to San Juan, Puerto Rico to medically evac a passenger. Now, again, when stuff like this happens, guys, obviously it's extremely unfortunate, but you got to understand the scope of the situation. A ship like Odyssey of the Seas, a ship of that magnitude, a ship of that size, is literally a small city, meaning it is inevitable that things are going to happen really no matter what anybody does. Now, the ship is currently doing a 14-day Spanish transatlantic from Fort Lauderdale and ending in Portugal over in Europe. So naturally, you gotta assume 14 days on a ship, a lot of sea days that are also a factor into the equation. Unfortunately, things are going to happen. But thankfully, they are near San Juan, Puerto Rico, and they did send me some video footage. This ship is moving right now. We don't know the extent of the passengers' injuries. Let's just hope that they're doing okay. But either way, guys, that's what I got so far. If any more information does come up, I will be sure to let all of you know. Now, moving on, we are going to talk about what is inevitably the talk of the town, and that is, of course, COVID rules, regulations, the pandemic. When it comes to cruising in particular, we got to talk about what is left as far as COVID protocols. That, of course, being vaccine mandates in order to sail and COVID testing prior to boarding the ship. Now, before I do though, I do have to do a little shameless plug here. If you guys have not subscribed to my other channel, Jay the Nomad, please do so. I just uploaded a video of me scuba diving. Now, this was a piece of an element in another video I did here on this channel when I went over to Cozumel, but if you guys go support that channel, I am going to Disney for the first time, or Epcot for the first time later this week. I got some good content coming up on there. Anyway, throughout this pandemic, we've all seen the process of how all this has gone down. When cruising came back around June, July, essentially summertime of 2021, naturally there were a lot of rules, regulations, a lot of skepticism, a lot of people still fearful of going cruising. So it was understandable that the CDC was cracking down. You got a lot of people that were kind of hesitant to jump on ships. There were a lot of rules, including masking, social distancing. But as we've seen, like variants and, of course, all these other elements that are involved with the pandemic, things have started to thankfully go away. And we are starting to somewhat go back to normal, given that we don't have any more problems with COVID. Fingers crossed. Now, we've seen the CDC at the beginning of the year. They've kind of dropped back and they've openly admitted that the cruise lines are doing everything that is needed in order to keep everybody safe. So they did get rid of the conditional sailing order, and they also got rid of basically their grip hold on the entire cruise ship industry, which let the cruise lines essentially fend for themselves and do whatever it is that they wanted to do as they saw fit. However, of course, at the beginning of the year, the cruise lines still opted to keep things like masking, which eventually did go away, but now we're seeing the implementation implementation of self-serve buffets returning, this primarily being due to staffing shortages. Well, not shortages, in the sense that cruise lines, they only can hire so many crew members on board, and this doesn't exactly allot for all these crew members that already have other duties to go over to the buffets and serve all of you the food, even though, well, let's be honest, that's what a lot of us prefer. So it is what it is when it comes to that. But even recently, you guys know I just got off Freedom of the Seas. When I went to the cruise terminal originally over in Miami, which is the largest cruise port on planet Earth, we had to wear masks in order to walk in. But then when I got off my 4-day sailing, masks were then optional. So we are seeing the tide kind of turn when it comes to COVID. However, there are a lot of elements that are still at play, two particular being, of course, like I said, the COVID testing and the vaccine mandates in order to sail. And naturally, people are asking a very valid question. With things seemingly going back to normal, when are we going to see the release of the vaccine mandate, meaning we don't need a vaccine in order to sail, or maybe they're going to get rid of COVID testing? Now, I brought up the possibility that maybe we are going to see one or the other. It'll probably be that we'll see testing go away first. However, it could go in any order. Now, I will leave that all up to you, of course. Let me know in the comment section, what do you think will be the first to go? Now, there is the matter of when all of this is going to go away, and we are going to officially be back to cruising how it was pre-pandemic. I do believe it's going to be a while. We do have Scott Gottlieb. He is an epidemiologist. He did chime in on COVID as a whole as far as when we go back to normal with places not requiring things like mass testing and vaccine mandates in order to enter an establishment or go on, say go overseas or whatever the case is. He said that there is a possibility that around fall or winter time we could see some of this stuff start to kind of go away and dissipate. However, personally for me, just looking at the elements, of course, not even like a month or two ago, we had spikes of COVID and Omicron and stuff going on over in Europe. And naturally, with cruising being an international thing for people to do, I believe that the cruise lines are not going to be in a rush to get rid of all of that because there are factors. Yes, there is a possibility of somebody coming in from overseas and maybe having COVID, but also you got to look at the public perception, the media. All of these are factors, the ports of call. If the cruise lines get rid of the vaccine mandate and they get rid of pre-board testing, the ports of call like Nassau, Bahamas, which we all know that cruise lines go there frequently, if they say, you know what, since you guys are going to do that, we don't want you here, it's going to cause a lot of problems and inevitably cost the cruise lines a lot of money. So they have to kind of tread softly. Now, I know this is a lot of information. I'm kind of just essentially rambling on here. I don't want to keep you guys. Of course, let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section below. Do you think that maybe vaccine mandates in order to sail or COVID testing will go away in the not so distant future? Who's very positive about it and optimistic? You think it'll go away by summertime? Let me know. I do want to hear all of your thoughts and I would greatly appreciate it. We are going to leave it right here, guys. Of course, on your way out, hit that like button. Go subscribe to my new channel, Jay the Nomad. I just uploaded a brand new video, which I'll put right up here. I appreciate if you guys would go check it out, comment, just give the video some engagement. That way I can grow that channel as well so that I continue giving you guys great content. Well, I try my best. You know what I mean. Subscribe to this channel and both of the other channels. I appreciate you guys. I love you. I will see you later. Take it easy.